Well, man. Oh, boy. Well, I guess, a smarter man than me once noted that a man's death is more the survivor's affair than a song. And that's a highbrow way of noting that our mourning is selfishly motivated by the realization of what we have lost. And man, we lost a good one, a year ago. Martha, we all grieve with you, but tonight, Martha, I'm sorry, Kathy. Kathy. And I haven't even been drinking. That's my eyesight. A year ago, we grieved with you, and tonight we're laughing with you. But I've known him since 1997 when I moved here. And I guess Cecil had just brought him up from Georgia to run the Worsley Operating Company's sales and marketing division. I didn't have the opportunity to call on him, though, until 2004. And like a lot of you said, there wasn't a tougher negotiator on the planet. Maybe other than Larry. Larry was a tough one, too. But, man, you'd leave there, and he'd suck all, like getting blood out of a turnip, he could do it. Many times I'd go home tired and broke, too, because he had gotten every penny out of me. And to Ronnie's point, and to Mark's point, and Tom's point, he could really wear you out if he wanted to. He'd cut you off at the knees, and I'd walk out and look in that mirror to make sure I still had some backside left. But he was always your friend. He had that innate ability to separate those two. But everybody's got stories about Rich, and I'm going to tell you two quick ones. First time I ever called on him, actually I called on Jeff Jasper because Jasper was his category manager. And the meeting went very well, and finished up, and I said, well, you want to go to lunch? And he said, yeah, sure, we need to ask Rich. So by all means, let's ask Rich. So we asked Rich, and he said, yeah, we'll go. And I said, where do you want to go? He said, I want to go to Hooters. Now, Kathy, I'm going to tell you, the only reason we did that was because it's close to the office. It had nothing to do with those little girls bouncing around in those shorts and those white tight t-shirts. So we break out and we roll up to Hooters, and we sit down, and the girl comes up and she says, hey, Rich, how you doing? And she called her by name. So, and that's the truth. She knew his name. And he said, take a 20-piece wing plate, hot. And I thought, wow, he's just ordered an appetizer at the table, and he just assumes everybody likes it hot, but that's okay. So I ordered a cheesesteak sandwich, and I don't remember which Jasper ordered. Server brought the food back, and we brought the drinks back. We're having the drinks, and 10, 15 minutes ago, we don't have the wings. She came by, and I said, ma'am, could you bring those appetizers? And she said, I'm sorry, did you order appetizers? And I said, well, the 20-piece wing plate. And Rich said, that's not an appetizer, that's my lunch. So she brought the food, and Rich ate every one of those damn wings. And I'm telling you, man, by the time he finished, he had used like 3 napkins to wipe the sweat off his face. But he never offered one wing. And I looked at him and I said, did you go to kindergarten? And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, you obviously didn't learn how to share. And he thought that was funny. He laughed. He said, well, the next time, I said, I told you it was my lunch. Next time we come, you order your own damn wings. He said, by the way, I'm going to let you pay for these. And that was the first one that I paid for, many, many more meals that I paid for in my life. I had the pleasure of calling him for 15 years until he retired. But the second one, talking about getting a free meal there, you and Mark talked about that. This was in 2007, and it was just about the time that Sun Capital had purchased Worsley from Cecil. But at the same time, Worsley was acquiring Little Cricket. And I was in the office one day, and Rich said, hey, look, man, we're going to have an operations meeting in about a month. And we're bringing the Little Cricket people over, the Young's people over, Scotchman people over. He said, why don't you come? We're going to have it catered, the lunch catered. He said, why don't you come, do a little business review, business update on how we're performing, your merchandising platform, your compliance, your promotions. You can even eat with us. We'll let you talk for about 30, 45 minutes. Man, I'd love to, because for anybody that knows, if you get the opportunity to work with operations, the VP of operations, the DMs, the supervisors, large format managers, if you ever get jammed up or get sideways, it's good to know those people, because you can call them. They can straighten out a lot of problems in the field for you. So I said, man, I'm honored. I'll be happy to do that. Thank you for this opportunity. So there are about 50 people. There's going to be about 50 people there. All the region vice presidents and the marketing directors and everybody. So that's great. So I put my deck together. We went and had the meeting that day. There were about 50 people there. And I presented everything I had to present. Everybody ate. Finished up. I went and ate. But I was thrilled. Exchanged business cards with a bunch of people. I was absolutely thrilled about that prospect. So a couple days later, I got an email from Jasper, and in the subject line it says, lunch bill. No, there's no body to the email, just lunch bill. And I opened it up, and it was 50 box lunches at $10, $500. So I called Jasper and I said, man, there must be something wrong here. I said, you sent me a lunch bill. I said, I wasn't paying for lunch. He said, well, Rich told me to send it to you. And I said, he never mentioned me paying for lunch. And he said, well, you're going to have to take that up with Rich. So I said, well, I'll do that because I hadn't even cleared that with Yvonne and I had to pay that bill. So I called Rich. And I knew he threw me in the voicemail because it rang like 2.5 times and it stopped, you know. Hello, you've reached Rich Mahoney's cell phone. I said, it's called. Call me. So he calls about 2 hours later and he said, hey man, what's going on? I said, look, I got this bill for lunch. I said, you never said anything about lunch. He said, are you kidding me? He said, did you not think you were paying for it? I said, of course not. You never brought it up, man. You never told me I was paying for lunch. You just asked me if I wanted to come and present. And I said, I was honored. He said, well, I got you a hell of a deal. You fed 50 people for $500. He said, you ate yourself. And I said, Rich, by the time I got there, it was an egg salad sandwich. The cookie was dry. I said, the apple had a worm in it. And there was no damn ice because all the ice was gone. But you know, at the end of the day, I paid for that meal. And I paid for it the next year, the next year, the next year. Man, that was Rich Week. There'll never be another one, Kathy. And, you know, man, thank you so very much for putting us on. Appreciate it.